Okay, so continuing on promoting up parameters to our asset, in this video I want to get our arms and our wrist parameters in place. Now I'm only going to do this for the left arm. It's the exact same process for the right arm, so there's no point in showing it twice. So I'll do this for the left arm, and then off camera after this video I will set up the right arm. So let's bring up and allow editing of contents for our asset, then bring up the type properties. I'm going to collapse down our master control and collapse down the torso folders, because now I'm going to create a new folder after our torso folder for our arms. And inside that folder I'm going to create an arm and wrist folder. And I'm actually going to create a left and right folder inside the arms, then inside that an arm and wrist folder, because later on we're actually going to create a hand folder as well. So let's create a left folder. And inside the left folder let's create an arm and wrist folder. Now the arm and wrist folder is going to need the arm stretchiness parameter, which in a second we will get linked up in with that overall stretchy lock parameter. We need to promote up our FK-IK blend parameter, all of our FK controls including the match FK to IK button, all of our IK controls including the match IK to FK button, and all of our wrist controls including the attach to detach blend, the rotations, and the buttons for matching one control to the other. So we have a number of parameters we need to promote. So let's start out with that arm stretchiness. We're dealing with our left arm, so that left arm stretchiness is on our left arm FK-IK controls asset, and we have that arm stretchiness. We're also going to promote up our FK-IK blend, so let's grab that whilst we're there as well, making sure we don't have prefix, link name or label checked. So I'm going to promote those up. I am going to reorder them, so the arm stretchiness is first, and I'm going to rename this to L arm lock and L arm FK-IK blend. From there I'm going to create a separator, and underneath this separator I'm now going to deal with FK controls. So let's create a label, and this label will have the name of L arm FK controls label, and the main label will be FK controls. I'm going to copy that, but I'm not actually going to use the main label. I just want that so that we see it inside our type properties. I am indeed going to use column labels, and I'm going to use the second of 3 column labels to centralize that text, just as we've done a number of times earlier setting up this asset. So for our FK controls, I need the 3 rotational parameters for our upper arm. I need that 1 rotation in Y for the lower arm. I need the upper FK stretch, the lower FK stretch, and the match FK to IK button. So I'm going to hunt down our nodes, and whilst we're here on our arm FK-IK controls node, let's grab that upper FK stretch, the lower FK stretch, and the match FK to IK button and promote those over. I am going to set that to L arm upper FK stretch, L arm lower FK stretch, and L arm match FK to IK. We still need those rotational parameters, so let's hunt down the L underscore upper arm, so upper arm FK control, and we want all of the rotations from that control. So move that out, put it above our upper FK stretch. This will be our upper arm rotate. I'll give that the name of L arm upper R. And then I also want the lower arm for our left, so let's hunt down our L underscore lower arm FK control. In terms of rotate, I only want to promote up rotate Y. We're only dealing with rotate Y there. So I'll promote up rotate Y, and this will become our lower arm rotate with the name of L arm lower R. So they're going to be all of our FK controls. Let's grab the separator and our label, right click and copy, right click and paste those. Let's rename this now to L arm IK controls label with the main label of IK controls, just so we can see that there. 3 column labels, IK controls in this case. Let's go ahead and promote up. We need our IK handle translate. That's on our super wrist control. So we have inside the super wrist control, inside the IK handle folder, we have that translate. Let's promote that up, and this will become our left arm IKT for translate. We also want the twist angle that is on our left twist control, so left underscore arm twist control, I believe that is named. There we go, left underscore arm twist control transform, and that is the rotate Z parameter we want from that control object. I'll give that the label of twist. I'll give that the name of L arm twist. We also need the upper IK stretch, lower IK stretch, and our match IK to FK buttons from our L underscore arm FK IK controls. So we have our upper IK stretch, our lower IK stretch, and our match IK to FK buttons. So I'll promote those over. And with all those in place, let's rename this now to L arm upper IK stretch, L arm lower IK stretch, and L arm match IK to FK. So that's going to be all of the controls for our arm. We do need to come in and add the wrist controls, and I'm actually going to create all of those controls underneath of inside this folder with our arm and wrist. But before I do that, let's check that all of these controls are indeed working, and let's also set up that arm stretchiness to drive the parameter in conjunction with the overall stretchy lock parameter. So I'm going to accept this, OK through the warning. Jump down inside our asset, and then let's go ahead and hunt down, and we know that arm stretchiness is on our L arm FK IK controls. Hunt down that arm stretchiness and multiply in with that our overall stretchy lock parameter that's up on our asset. So that overall stretchy lock just with our spine is going to have an overall effect along with that local lock parameter. I can now jump up back to our asset level. Just give Houdini a second to think about doing that. There we go. Right click, save operator type, and right click, match current definition, so that we have a locked asset, and that will allow us to test out our left arm controls. So I'm going to grab one of our left arm controls. We can see we are currently set to an FK IK blend set to FK, so we should be able to come in here and rotate our control on all three axes. Fantastic. And only rotate that control on Y. Fantastic. So that's our FK working nicely. We should also be able to stretch. Fantastic. And stretch. Fantastic. And come in and match FK to IK. And that is brilliant because that has worked fantastically. So let's zero out our FK controls. And then let's go ahead, blend over to IK. And then jump in and test that our IK is working as well. So we should be able to jump in here, move our IK handle. Fantastic. Grab our twist. Fantastic. Upper IK stretch. Lower IK stretch, and we should be able to match IK to FK. Fantastic. So all of that is working perfectly. Let's blend back over to FK there. And that's going to conclude our arm controls. We do need to add our wrist controls. So I'm going to allow editing of contents, bring back up the type properties. Let's collapse hips, shoulders, spine. Actually, we could have just collapsed torso, but never mind. So now we're inside the arm and wrist folder. I'm going to create a new separator. I'm then going to grab our label and right click, copy, right click, paste. Let's create another separator underneath that. And I'm going to give this the name of wrist controls. So wrist controls. This will be L arm wrist controls label. And let's give the main label also of wrist controls, but turning off that label. And that's just for us now in our type properties as opposed to being used as the label itself. Underneath this, I want our wrist attached to detach blend parameter promoted up. So that's going to be on our super wrist control. So L super wrist control. Inside the super wrist control, we have the attached to detach blend. I'll promote that up and give that the name of L wrist blend. Fantastic. I'm then going to create a new separator. Let's create a new separator. That does need to get dragged into that folder. I need an attached wrist control label. So let's copy our wrist controls label and paste. I'm going to change this to left arm at wrist control label. And this will become our attached wrist control. So attached wrist control. I will set that for our main label as well, and then disable the main label. So we've got our attached wrist control. I'm going to promote up the rotate for the attached wrist control along with our match attached to detach button. So we want to, from our attached wrist control, promote up the rotate, and that's going to become our left at wrist R for attached wrist rotate, and then the match attached to detach button, again renaming this to left wrist match attached to detach. I can then copy the separator and our label, paste those. I'm going to change the label now to become our detached wrist control label with the main label of detached wrist control, and let's make sure we have 3 column labels and set that guy to detached wrist control as well. Then let's promote up the rotation of our detached wrist control. Again, this will now become our LDT for detached wrist, R for rotate, and I want to promote up the match detach to attach button, changing this to left L wrist match detach to attach. And that's going to be all of the controls for our left arm and wrist. Let's accept that. OK. Right click and save operator type. Right click and match current definition. That's going to lock out our assets. So now we can test our wrist controls. So we can come in here and grab our wrist control. This is our attached control. Rotate that around. We can blend over to the detached control or back to our attached control. Fantastic. We can say match detach to attach, and our detach is now matched to our attach. We can grab our detach, we can rotate our detach, say around here, then we can say match attach to detach, and that's linking up perfectly. Let's zero these out. We have one last thing to test, and that is if we were to blend back over to attach first, grab the overall control, and we can see that if we do grab our overall super wrist control, indeed we have the 3 handles with the ability to turn off the visibility of those handles if we so desire. So our attach, detach and IK handles are all available on our super wrist control. So that is going to conclude the promotion of parameters for our left arm and wrist, not including the left hand. And it's going to be the exact same process for our right arm and wrist. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do that off camera because there's no point seeing me do this all over a second time. So in the next video, we'll continue working with the left arm, but in this case, we'll be setting up all of our hand controls for our left hand. So this will conclude this video. Thanks a lot, everyone.